Look at that, we're back in the workshop. Just the other day I picked up this camera. It's a Nikon D70 from a local photography sale. It was extremely cheap, and I had no idea if it worked or not, and I had it for a couple days and finally got to test it out with the battery, and it seemed to work fine, except it would not take pictures reliably. If you would sit here and hit the shutter button like 1 out of every 50 times, you would finally get it to shoot. And then you could, if you pressed it on the corner just right, sometimes it would shoot, and if you replicated that, it would shoot again and again and again, and then you'd lose your spot and it would stop shooting again for a while. It was just impossible to use, obviously. And I figured it was literally just that switch, because there's a little bit of a dent here on the button. It seems like it might have gotten dropped, and also the actual power switch is a little bit stiff for some reason. But anyway, I was going to replace the switch, the little micro switch in there, which involved taking out a lot of screws. Basically every single side of this comes off, and then the bottom, and then finally, after unsoldering some wires to the flash and some other ground wires over here, you can take this top part off and get to that switch. So unfortunately, I did not make a video about that. So if you stay tuned, I will show you exactly what I did on this thing. This is an old Olympus piece of crap, and it just so happens to have a very similar switch. So I will be showing you what I did on this one. Okay, here it is. This is the switch that I'm talking about, and I assume this one's the same as the other one, where yeah, it will be. You press on the switch halfway and it clicks a little bit, and that's tells the camera to focus, and then you click it the rest of the way and you get a second click, so which takes the picture, obviously. Just gonna make sure there's no crazy capacitor. I don't want to shock myself. I would assume this camera's discharged by now, but anyway. So, looking at the switch, sorry, over here, I should just rip this off. I probably should. You will see it has a little bit of a tab on this side, as well as the other side, but you can't see it quite as well. And what we can do is literally peel this switch open. And the reason why you would want to do this is if you think the switch is damaged or dirty or something like that. So there, I've popped it open. I'm going to let it fall open very carefully. Okay. Obviously, if you lose any of these parts, you're screwed. You need a new switch. So here, put that there, and I'll put this on my finger. We've got, this is one of the plates on the inside, which sits like this. One sits like this, and one sits like this. So when you press down halfway, one switch, this little plate makes contact with that little plate, and then when you push down all the way, that little plate makes contact with the bottom of the switch. And this other little plate's going to come out too. But basically the moral of the story here is you can, there's that, and there's also a little, I'll just leave that part in there, little disc. You can actually dismantle these switches and sit and clean them up the best you can, scrape away any oxidation, and sometimes you can get them to work again without having to not only find a replacement switch, which is relatively easy, but if you get an actual replacement part, they're probably going to charge a lot of money for it. I think the replacement switch is just this little switch here for the D70 on eBay was over $5 just for that tiny little thing. And I didn't want to put too much money into the camera, especially since I wasn't positive if that was the problem yet. But anyway, so what I did on the D70 over there is took the switch part just like this, and then I kind of cleaned away this this film that was on one of the switches. I think it had gotten some moisture damage on the bottom plate thing, and then which I had to slowly scrape away all that little crap on there and all the little crap on there, and then very carefully, this part took forever, put these pieces back in there the right direction. I already lost one. I don't know where it went. Anyway, don't lose the part. I don't care about this camera, it's toast anyway. Yeah. Slowly put it all back together. Obviously you want to pay attention to which way it went together. And then you might have to bend this. Telephone's ringing. Bend this, this is the little cover. Bend the tab back closed. And just kind of pop it on there. And your switch will be as good as new, hopefully. Obviously this one's not as good as new because it's missing parts now. But that's what I did. And now it works just fine. Except my battery's dead in it, so now it won't take a picture. But it took a picture that first time. That's what counts. So, trust me, it works. I've shot hundreds of shots with it now. And it's working perfectly. So my cheap little project cost me absolutely nothing to repair except for my time. And yeah, now I've got another body sitting around. I'll probably give this one to my father. So that's it for today. Take it easy.